King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. Book 1. So let's get started. Now, here, this book isn't book 1. It's basically part 1 of this book, but basically everyone just keeps calling it book 1, as says right here. But right now, we're just going to do a little thing of the two swords. And let's talk about the coming of Arthur. And we all know the legend of King Arthur, the boy who just took the sword out of the stone, which actually inspired a few movies, like The Boy Who Became King and a lot of other things that we'll not go into deeply right now. But right now, let's just talk about the coming of Arthur. When King Pendragon died, he had an only son that no one actually, except him, knew about. And he gave it to a magician named Merlin, who basically raised it and had a lot of inconvenience while raising him. Firstly, then he decided to give baby Arthur to a foster parent and being raised like a son of the foster parent. And it turns out King Arthur sort of loved it and thought that his last name wasn't Arthur. So thought that his last name was actually his foster parent's last name. And the only time when he knew that it was king, this happened. King Arthur, it was on a day when everyone was jousting and stuff, and there was a little celebration, when a few people found a stone with a sword in it. And on the stone it said, "Whoever pulls this sword out of its stone and anvil is the true-born king of Britain." And everybody tried doing it, but no one succeeded, as we all know. But when King Arthur was told by his ex-brother to get his sword, it turns out the inn where his ex-brother left his sword was locked. So he went to the stone at the church and basically had a lot of fun doing it. He pulled the sword out with ease, and then, well, he got some praise. And it was only a few days later that he was actually acknowledged as king, because when Merlin tried to explain to all the rebel kings about why Arthur was made king, was because Avalon chose him to be king. And Avalon is a magical place where anyone can be healed and has a temporarily cut in their gig. And that's a lot to ask for just one person. When King Arthur was actually crowned king and actually notified as king by this time, he had a very difficult time doing it. And even though when his sword broke, I guess you're swordless now, until he found Excalibur and a scabbard. Now, most of us don't really know this. Excalibur is the sword that Arthur keeps and always uses to defeat everyone. But the scabbard, whoever wears the scabbard, will never bleed at all. Well, okay, only bleed a little bit, but never bleed in large amounts. But then Morgan Le Fay came and decided that she wanted the sword and scabbard, so she went to Arthur and just stole the scabbard because the sword was naked in Arthur's hand while he was sleeping. Hope he doesn't dream about slaying himself, or else he would be slaying himself in sleepwalking. And that's how he lost his scabbard and started bleeding a lot whenever someone tried to hit him. Not like before, but at least it was a little minor defect on him. And when Morgan flees, she was never heard from again. Well, actually, she will be heard from again, just not so much. And she was probably never seen again until book 2, which I've just been able to read, but that's nothing important about this. And that is the origins of King Arthur and his first adventures. One thing I will say is that he was told, in most of the stories that I've read, the Round Table was given as a gift from Queen Guinevere's Queen Guinevere's father as a wedding present, and we all know Queen Guinevere, the wife of King Arthur, and then he chose some knights to become his Knights of the Round Table, and new knights were put in there, and that's gonna be a lot of knights. No, not the knight. I said knights, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm guessing that this is the end of this episode. And if you want to watch part 2, then please do that. I'll be coming up with part 2 later on, but just wait until I release part 2. Or release at the same time, but that's a different matter. So, I'm guessing that this will be the actual end of this episode. Click either these 2 videos, subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, share this video to everyone else, and please comment down below. See you in the next episode. Shine out. Peace.